always thought that hops was just for making beer. And then I learned that it has some really good calming and feel-good benefits. We are going to make a tea and a tincture, and I'll show you how I like to use it for relaxation, better sleep. It balances hormones too. These pretty little green cones are from the hops vine, and they're the same green cones that they use to make beer, and they have some great medicinal benefits that are really calming and relaxing. So I've dried some, I've tinctured some, and my favorite way, a nice cool refreshing drink. And before I show you how I do all that, we're going to make us a tea. When I've got a lot going on and my mind is just racing, I can have a cup of this and it kind of just relaxes me enough to slow all that down. We're just making tea. You start with your hot water. I have my favorite mug. This is a little fine mesh strainer. It's super fine so you don't end up with a lot of debris in the bottom. And this one comes with a little metal lid. And you just take about 4 or 5 little fingertip full of the cones. Now, since I grew this, it has stayed in the little cones. It's like a little pine cone. But if you order it online, it's probably gonna come all broken up, but it's fine. It's still good. So you just add like a big heaping tablespoon into your strainer. And this is where you could add a few things to help with the flavor, or you could brew it just by itself. I'm gonna add in a little passion flower. Also has good relaxing benefits. And I'm gonna stop right there. One of the other things you can add is a valerian root, but valerian root is really the combination of these two, and the valerian root will really put you to sleep. And the valerian root is not the best smell. It smells kind of like minty, stinky feet, but it is excellent at helping you fall asleep. So I save this if I need to bring out the big guns. But for now, I'm gonna just stick with the hops and some passion flower. Top it off with your hot water. Put your little lid on and let it steep. We'll let that steep for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how strong you want it. What I like about this little lid is you can take it off when your tea's done. And then I'm not dirtying another little dish. The hot tea is not the only way I consume this thing. Actually, my favorite way is a real refreshing cold drink, and I'll show you that in just a minute. If sleep is something that you struggle with, then adding something like the valerian root and the passion flower and the hops combination might be something that you'd want to look into. So before I drink this and get too calm and cozy, I want to show you a little more about the plant, how it grows, and how we harvest it. Then we'll make a tincture. Hops is a vining plant, and I've got mine growing along the fence, and in the right spot, it'll take off like crazy. So if you ever grow it yourself, give it plenty of room to climb. And it is a gorgeous plant to have around. Oh, there's a caterpillar. He scared me. Don't worry, I put him back, but I wanted to make sure he wasn't something I did not want in my garden, but he's cool. It is a question mark butterfly or a polygonia butterfly. Probably the polygonia. I see those around the garden from time to time. These are the little hop cones, the flower, and they're ready to harvest in late summer and into early fall. And what we're looking for is inside of the little petals is a golden resin, and that, like it's pollen, and that's called lupulin, and that's where all the scent and the relaxing properties live, and that's what you're looking for. Now, I took these inside and let them dry out in the basket for several days, and I had a little hitchhiker. Isn't he cute? Turns out inchworms like hops too. First, I'm going to show you how I'm going to tincture the hops. Super simple. You can do it. I have this stainless steel funnel. It's just easier to get everything in. We are going to fill this jar up. These are pretty fluffy. Usually I would do about half to 3/4 of the plant matter, depending on what I was making. Base. And then that leaves me some for tea. Now we're just going to top it off with a vodka. I have 80 proof vodka. Yeah, 80 proof. That means that it does have a water content. So that's the folk method, and that's how I roll. I don't do all the different measurings, and I know it drives a lot of herbalists crazy, but like I said, I'm not an herbalist. I'm just doing this for me, and this is easy. As long as it's like a good 80 proof to 100 proof, that means it does have a water content, and that will pull out the properties that the alcohol will pull out, and it will also have the water soluble properties will pull out when you use like an 80 proof or 100 proof vodka. And we're just going to fill that up. You want all of your plant matter below the alcohol. A little bit of pollen is floating up to the top. Let me see if you can see that. Oh yeah, you can see that pollen settling around there. We'll just put this in a dark room all to itself. We'll come check it every day or so. I probably won't because I won't remember. But when I think of it, I'll give it a little shake, and we'll let that sit in there for at least 4 to 6 weeks. And then we will strain it out and have our tincture. I've saved this from something else, a metal lid. You can also use just the flats and the rings that come with a mason jar. This one has sat way longer than 6 weeks. I don't even remember when I tinctured it, but that doesn't hurt anything. You don't have to stop it at 6 weeks. You can just put it in, leave it, strain it when you're ready. I'll set this aside. Let's get this one strained. Oh, and always label what you've put in your jar. You think you'll remember, you will not remember. Save yourself some grief. Now this smells nice. It actually smells really nice. Clean jar, stainless steel funnel. A lot of times I usually just strain through a mesh strainer. You could use cheesecloth if you want. This gets out most of the particles, and it doesn't bother me if it has a little bit of residue in it. But if that bothers you, you can put a little cloth or some cheesecloth in this. I did get this fun funnel that is like super fine. Let's try it. And it fits. Oh, that's nice. It fits perfectly in my little funnel. But you can use just a mesh strainer, no problem. Look how lovely. And that comes from the pollen. So let's go. And I will strain the rest of this, but for now, let's see what we got. Then you can just pour them into these little tincture bottles. This is a good size as well. I also have some little funnels that work great for doing something like this, but it still gets messy. I'll label this, keep it in my tincture closet, and then, whoopsie. It smells nice. It smells a little grapefruity. Always check with your healthcare provider. So if you're pregnant, on any kind of medications, or have any concerns at all, you need to do your own research and check with your doctor. You got to make sure it's right for you. I'm not an herbalist and I'm not a doctor. I'm just a lady that's trying to relax, and I know what works for me. Why on earth would you want to tincture something when you could just drink it as a tea? Well, a couple reasons. It is a distinct flavor, and when you tincture it, it is more concentrated, so you can take just a small amount and you can take it kind of like you would medicine. Once you tincture it in the alcohol, it has a really long shelf life, so you don't have to worry about it losing its potency. This stuff's good for years. Droppers are usually measured in milliliters, but the exact amount depends on the size of the bottle. So when I say 2 to 5 droppers, that can vary a bit. What I personally go by is about 1 to 2 teaspoons of tincture. You can adjust that based on your taste and what feels right for you. Just start out with a lower dose when you're first trying it, and then increase it as your body gets used to it, or you know how you like it. The dog has decided to sleep under my feet. But I like a little bit of maple syrup, a sparkling water, and it tastes kind of like a cream soda. And I threw a little bit of that hops in there. It's really good. That's my signature drink. I've consumed a lot of hops sharing this with you guys. So I think I'm just going to have to go sit on the breezeway with the pups. It's just noon. Bubba, my best boy. If you like that kind of thing, that's what I do around here. So hit like and subscribe. I hope you all enjoy your tea or your tincture. And don't forget, I'll have all those things listed in the description so you can order some for yourself.